of course, my phone had been pinging all over the place because of kind of messages coming in, and people go, "Yeah, we'll have to get food and whatever." So I kind of looked at my phone, sort of cleared the messages. And I was sharing a room with Phil from Dark Star Studios. I was like, he'd sent a message saying, gone to get food. And then the next one was like, yeah, now at the Hilton. So, okay, well, I'm not getting into the hotel, so I may as well just head straight to the Hilton. So I literally just grabbed my jacket, my stick, closed the car, beeped it, walked away. Didn't look back because I wasn't walking. I was walking sort of sideways from the car, so I didn't look back. And we got back to the car to pick my bag at somewhere after midnight. Maybe a couple of hours, maybe after midnight.
Maybe
the lights were on. I was just like, oh no, I've left the lights on for the last sort of 6 or more hours.
See, if you hadn't have had those last 3 pints, you might have been all right.
Yeah, you could have started the engine and driven it around the car park a few times to make sure the battery was with the lights off, obviously.
To make sure the battery was charged. And driving.
Yeah,
but to make sure it was on the private car.
What was worse? Yeah, but what was worse? Yeah, I mean, how many cars will I hit? What was worse?
None by the
state of the following morning. Yeah. There was a very nice Tesla park next to me. Yeah, that one. Anyway, what was worse is the following morning, because I hadn't finished my Fools of Tools treasure trade, and I needed to finish it. Put the boots up, of course, the light comes on inside the boot, and I spent the best part of an hour sorting out the last part of the treasure trade.
I mean, I'm not sure that the boot light would have done the damage there.
Not the damage, but
an hour of boot light.
I think it was just the. I think it was more just it was the final straw, because when I went to go and pack up and leave, the central locking didn't work, and that was a bit of a clue that I hadn't got away with it the night before, because I up to that point I thought I've got away with it. Didn't try to start the car because I was trying to finish off this treasure trade. So I thought I'd got away with it until that moment when it's like,
I've gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
Yeah. So I thought that's a future Andy problem. When I got back on late Saturday evening or Saturday afternoon, because we sort of did a room sort of move around, the central locking worked again. I thought maybe I got away with it. Yeah. Then 9 o'clock on.
You just tried it
Monday
a few more
morning,
times to make sure.
Yeah, 9 o'clock Monday morning. It was a case of, oh, good job I've got one of those little jump packs in the glove box.
Yeah.
Once it's down, always a scared Andy. Be prepared.
Bit like that. Yeah, a bit like that. So thankfully, got it started. But the worry was I needed petrol pretty quick. And the petrol station was 1.5 miles away. It's like, will it charge sufficiently in 1.5 miles? Luckily, I took the wrong turn into an industrial estate, so it ended up closer to 2 miles.
It's amazing you made it home in just 3 hours.
Every type of energy that it takes, it was out of.
Yeah.
How was
including yours, Andy?
Yeah, I was going to say, including the driver.
I was a bit on the zonk side. Yeah.
In fairness, just to look back to that treasure trade, absolutely epic for those who didn't see it or weren't involved. The Fools of Tools Facebook group from our kind of sister podcast, do it like a make a secret
sister
Santa
podcast,
type thing.
brother podcast.
Well, I suppose father podcast,
cousin.
Yeah. But they do this like makers secret Santa type thing where it was kind of shifted this year. We did a kind of a smaller one at Christmas, and then did one and then we did a one that kind of brought us up to Maker Central. And Andy happened to get a good friend of ours, Simon, as his tradee, who's a massive Zelda fan. So, although the brief was kind of something vaguely that fits in a shoebox.
Hey, fishing waders are a shoe. Fishing waders are a type of shoe.
True.
Andy went all out.
Do they come in a box?
Good ones. I would imagine.
Depends on.
He could have got away with clown shoes. Would have been just about right, I think. Is or skis maybe if they come in a box.
Thigh boots.
I tell you what, it would be
what you wear in your
cheating if I played that, because I've got size 14 feet, so I'd be able to have a much larger range of sizes.
I've got some boots the size of which I think could contribute heavily.
So this trade that Andy was finishing off just happened to be a full-sized Master Sword from Zelda.
Oh, I saw the picture on Instagram of the sword. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what he also then did is, because, obviously Link goes on a quest, Andy then sent Simon on a quest to all of our friends around the NEC, including to go and speak to Becky. So poor Simon was then just hoofing it all the way around, trying to figure out clues as he went, to then just come back to exactly where he started and be presented with this amazing gift.
Wrapped in, I haven't I haven't posted the process pictures yet, but that will include at least one of them showing the kind of unwrapped one, because I used an entire reel of duct tape plus a bath towel plus a cardboard box in order to disguise the shape of it.
Bath towel from the Premier Inn, Andy.
No.
What's the purple writing on it?
Yeah. He's lucky though, because what I really wanted to do, but I ran out of time, mostly because of procrastination. I wanted to make, and I had the wood. I got the wood out of the shed. It was to make a wooden crate, which would have been closed up with every different possible screw and bolt type I could have got my hands on. And then to put around I'd have had to tell you, Jamie, to hide you wear a little pack thing. But I would have then had, the idea was to kind of have every different bit as far spread around every possible stand.
Get a Canadian to bring over some Robinsons.
Yeah.
I did see there was a dad the other day talking about getting his son his first kind of, bit set, and he was like, and I've taken out half of them because he needs to learn.
Yeah, exactly. I saw a mechanic dad doing the same thing, taking the 10 mil out.
Just being like, nope.
Get rid of the posi 2. You've got to work out how to kind of jam it in with a flat end.
If you can't jimmy it, you're not worth it.
We might have, there may have been a little bit of repair work done at one point at the Maker stand, which involved a Torx 25 when actually a Torx 30 was needed.
That's what Wiggles are all about.
Hey, that's exactly what we did, Matt. It was great seeing a group of makers, because I recently bought a new fancy Wera screwdriver.
Beautiful.
And then a group of makers who are all absolute tool nerds anyway, going, how can we fix this thing? And then just presenting them with this beautiful bit of kit. And then it was a good kind of couple of minutes before everyone actually decided, like, oh yeah, we were meant to be repairing something.
Yeah, we had a good look at it first. It is a beauty.
Yeah, rightly so. In fairness, the
Can you
construction.
lob it out and show it for us on camera now?
No, because it's downstairs.
Oh.
But it's the fancy Zyklop one that they've recently done.
Oh, right.
It's got all the bits stuffed in the back, and it'll do 3/8 or the 1/4-inch hex. It's
nice.
Can't beat a bit of Vera.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
but yeah, the Construct 3D guys brought over it was Jacob from them. Brought over the Linus Tech Tip screwdriver in the Hilton. So we were all nerding out about that as well.
Oh, I missed that.
It's very nice. But I got him back with that Zyklop.
Yeah.
Lots of cool nerdery.
Got him back with the Zyklop sounds very smart guy, but it's just
it's very kind of middle class villain sounding to me.
I'm sure there's some sort of comment to be made here about men and their tools, but I haven't got the energy right now.
Yeah, but you just ended up with dragon bits. Yeah, but it's like that trumps everything.
Yeah, I don't have a dragon screwdriver yet though. So if anyone wants to,
Yet
being the operative word.
Yeah,
I'm now imagining like a dragon-shaped drive. Because it'll have a lot of torque to it. Once you've got it in, it'll have a lot of torque to it.
Just like the dragon's head, just pressing the top of the screw bit.
No, the whole dragon.
Being Welsh, I'm thinking miniaturized Welsh flag.
Yeah.
The outline for red dragon there.
I mean,
obviously, there's a little bit you need to kind of take out, because otherwise it'd be a little kind of
I mean, this will be the when you've got like the kind of the European screwdrivers using the Torx bits, the Canadians using the Robertson, kind of that would have to be the iconic Welsh driver, just made of cheese grade steel sort of thing.
Course. Oh, crikey. I think it's a good idea. We don't do introductions, as the regular listeners will do. But as we have 4 guests today, and I didn't list them on the sort of listing on Instagram or Twitter today, I think it's probably a good idea if we have a bit of a quick introduction for the benefit, particularly of the audio listeners, because, of course, the video listeners watching right now, and quite a few in, will, of course, see names. So joining us, I tend to call fans. So joining us in alphabetical order, we have Becky Pepperdine, previous guest. We have Kev Sharkey. We have Matt Gray.
Hello.
Yes.
And we have not a previous guest, but hopefully will become a previous guest at some point in the future. And that is Peter Millard.
Hello. I'll try and get my head around the logic of that one. Just give me a second. I'll be fine.
It's the future, past, present tense.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I've been time traveling.
Yeah.
It sounds similar to when people refer to the late someone or other when they're still alive.
It's an easy mistake to make, to be fair.
It's been a long week.
What were we doing last weekend?
Nothing much.
I'm hanging around a little bit. Yeah.
Might have been some beer involved.
Cider on my part. Yeah. Yeah. What were we doing last weekend? We were
in
having
Birmingham.
Alabama.
Not
We weren't even in Birmingham.
Not really.
We're in an industrial estate turned into a warehouse, turned into a thing where they put people when they've been very bad.
Edge of Solly. It's the edge of Solihull, isn't it?
Yeah.
The edge of Solihull.
Yeah.
I should know
close
Birmingham
enough
better.
that
Yeah.
we still need our jabs to get in there.
I was just about to say, actually, it wasn't actually Birmingham because I wasn't retching.
Well, I mean, if you get public transport there, you have to get the train to Birmingham and then leave again. So it's definitely not Birmingham.
Yeah, I did the airport, the industrial estate, the hotel, the Hilton, the NEC, the hotel, the airport. So that was Birmingham.
You never saw a city. In that.
No.
There's worse ways to spend time in Birmingham by not being in Birmingham.
Yeah.
True.
We have, of course, offending nearly all our Birmingham listeners.
Both of them.
It's fine.
We have at least one, and I'm not including Joe because Joe's Wolverhampton, of course.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you could say that Dean is either, because I think Dean will also probably agree with the not being Birmingham.
Yeah, he's close, though. He's close.
Yeah.
Crikey. Yeah, it's going to be one of those evenings, isn't it? It's been one of those weeks. Yes, I think, we are. This is our annual, our second annual, which considering
Make a central wrap up.
We've been go for less than 2 years. But yeah, our second annual Make a Central wrap up episode. Because
can anyone remember what happened
At Maker Central or last
year?
Yeah, so hopefully you've all watched last year's episode.
There'll be a test in 5 minutes' time about last year's.
What I like is that there's a Maker Central kind of wrap-up video that they put out officially, and we're doing this before that has come out, so we haven't even got a cheat sheet.
No, we haven't.
If they're slow,
and we haven't even learnt the rap.
I was not warned about this.
We can have, two teams of Beastie Boys style rap.
Freestyling is the only way to go.
Yes,
I've seen the film Up. I don't think there was any rapping in that.
Peter, did you expect this to be a serious podcast, by the way?
No. I've watched a couple, and I know they're fairly not serious. I did enjoy the one with Carl recently, which is very good. Yeah. He's a professional, isn't he? He's a smooth voice of local radio.
Did you get a chance to meet up with him?
I did. He popped in very, very briefly. I had a stand at the show, so I was stuck in the stand all weekend, as is the nature of these things. So you don't. The only time you get to see the show is when you do a quick walk around, 20 minutes before the show opens.
I think Peter, you and I probably had a very similar Maker Central.
yeah, I'm sure. It's a bit full on, isn't it? Generally speaking. So yeah.
Wave at your friends as they run past doing something.
That's right. Yeah. or your friends stand at the back of the crowd and just give up because they can't be bothered to wait and see you.
A lot of people go, "I'll catch you later," and you never see them again.
No, that's right. Yeah.
That's part of the reason I got a ticket, because I think I could have got away with the can you let me in for free and I'll stand there being Matt Gray off the internet. But I'd rather just not be encumbered and wander around, meet some nice people and chat to my friends. But then again, with my freedom to wander around, I don't think I met you, Peter or Kev.
I think we had. I was sitting having lunch, and you were lying on the ground.
Yes, you were in that. Yes, that was just as I'd got there. Yeah. I was hangry and whatever the car equivalent of angry, carngry. I was going to say I was stuck in traffic, but it's more accurate to say I was traffic.
I mean, lying on the ground hangry seems like an accurate representation of the weekend, doesn't it?
Yeah,
pretty much.
I had an absolute saviour in Ruth Amos, who happened to have a spare gluten-free sandwich, who just handed it to me. I went, "Nice. Isn't that your lunch? Just eat it. Just eat it before I want it." I went, "Okay." And then I woke up and got
the Welsh cakes were all gluten-free this year.
Oh, I didn't find any Welsh cakes. So they
I didn't even see a Welsh cake, Andy.
Not even a sniff.
They were hiding in the Make with Maker stand.
Yeah.
I finally got to that stand at the end of Sunday, just as it was being tidied up.
I mean, I asked to be as close to you as possible, and I was 2 stands away. So, I don't think I could have gotten any closer.
That's true. I don't think we were mean enough to wander past eating one as we walked past.
No, I think most people were wandering past. Somebody put them on the table at the edge. A lot of people were walking past. I was certainly walking past and sort of grabbing one and then walking on. But yeah, I've got an idea, and I had it last year, but it didn't happen, and it didn't happen this year either. But because I didn't think about it this year, of actually kind of having some sort of like Welsh cake dispenser backpack.
Yes.
So I can walk around and
go. The Nerf guns that take the discs.
A bit like, but maybe not actually fling them.
That kind of pressure might destroy a Welsh cake. Quick.
Oh, but it could be the other way around then. It could be like an inverse Ghostbusters backpack, but instead of sucking, it's those pneumatic tubes that you used to get in department stores.
Yeah.
And actually, the last time I made a pneumatic tube reference, everyone I was with was too young to either know what I was talking about or to have ever seen one.
No.
Or hadn't seen Tom's video about pneumatic system for food or for the radioactive one.
What just isn't cool enough? I mean, even if you have never seen, I don't know. I can't imagine not knowing about a pneumatic tube.
Ever since I saw them for the first time, I've wanted one.
Yeah.
I still want one.
It's like wiring my house. I want that system as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just snack delivery vacuum pod system.
Yeah.
I've just realised I saw an advert on Instagram or something for American houses, because they've got those massively spacious houses, but also plasterboard walls.
Yes.
And you can fit a vacuum tube in it from every room.
Oh, yeah.
Your laundry room.
Yep.
And you open the vacuum and it sucks all your clothes in.
I've seen this, yeah.
But imagine that with cake. It doesn't matter if it makes a mess at the end because it's in the laundry.
I think we're going to need to get Colin Furze involved in this, because I think he's nuts enough to actually make it, though, given that he did the big flailing spoons with cake.
Oh, yeah.
Pitch it as a vacuum cake delivery system.
Forgot about that.
Colin Furze, Simone Yates, some sort of collaboration, some sort of cake dispensing robot.
You could just go lo-fi though, because like my mate lives in a cob house in a hippie commune in Limerick, and he just has like a bent like Centra sign, and it goes from his bedroom down to his laundry room. You know, go lo-fi.
Just a rucksack with a rotating door.
Exactly.
And it's eco-friendly. Reuse some
Exactly.
Corex board instead of running an entire compressor and suction system.
It's nice to see that 20 minutes in and we've already come up with a couple of ridiculous inventions.
I'm just thinking now, if you live in one of those houses and you get home at night and you you're getting changed ready for bed, you've put your pajamas on, you're going to dispense with the clothes you've been wearing that day, and you open up the vents, waking up everyone else in the house as soon as the Hoover turns on. Other brands of vacuum cleaner are obviously also available. I wouldn't recommend Dyson because he seems like a bad man.
Yeah.
Oh, what a thought! What a thought! Oh, nothing
It would
could go
annoy
wrong
your
with that.
neighbours as well, wouldn't it? Surely it would resonate in all the cavities.
I mean, it depends what kind of system you've got going on here.
I'd say it's probably well insulated as well.
Could be low level suction and more of a slide mechanic.
Gravity, yeah.
But then you'd have to make sure you got undressed at the top of the house just to make sure that the
I'm
gravity
going to say
worked.
like bedrooms, laundry room.
Yeah.
And you can have a system for your trash as well. Just make sure you don't mess up by putting your good shirt in the trash system. And if you've got a cake, you can have a trio, couldn't you? You got your trash one, your laundry one, and your cake delivery.
So, yeah, but that's like 2 suction and 1 the other way. So that could be quite dangerous if you get them.
But you can tell when the cake's coming because the crumbs will get hurt.
So you'd have to get the ordering right. So you've got like.
I actually slapped myself in the face there.
But you'd have to have the cake. You'd have to have the cake in some sort of container, or you've got to go for a cake that isn't going to just decimate as soon as it's turned on. So then you're talking rock cake.
It's got its own casing,
which could be lethal.
Some sort of like dense, fully iced spherical cake that's just going to hit you straight in the face like a baseball.
Cake pops. Oh, the sticks would hurt when they come out.
No, you don't have to do them on sticks. You can just have them as pops. No sticks. I feel like we solved this.
We could go for the pop. If you're going for the cake pops, we could go back to the Nerf sort of. Yeah, they're like the kind of the larger Nerf ball.
They're more solid.
Yeah.
Wait, there's no limit to the size of a cake pop. You could make a potato-sized cake pop, put it in a potato cabinet.
You've got the right size. Yeah, you've got the right size mold.
But then we solve all the problems because Al from Al's Hack Shack made the T-shirt cannon from a few years ago. So then you can dress and undress, or you've got clothes delivery and clothes removal. So now we've got 5 things mounted on the wall.
The house of the future is different, isn't it?
With every idea, it doubles the amount of house stuff you need.
We need 3 vacuum pumps. We need 2 different injection systems for high pressure air.
You need to start for the cake dispensing system. Where does your kitchen need to be in the actual construction of the house? If your laundry room's below,
it's just deliver
you need
room.
your kitchen above.
Here's a little test. Now, I don't know if this will work for Kev, but the rest of you all have Peter, maybe I think possibly on the wrong side of 50 for this. But how many of you recognise this book?
Oh,
it's Physics for You by Keith Johnson, which has a complete Heath Robinson contraption on the front for getting somebody out of bed, making them a cup of tea and cereal. The ultimate distraction for students doing GCSE physics for the last 30 years.
It's Wallace and Gromit and Colin Furze rolled into one old book.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, there was a great... I was trying to tell some very young person who didn't really know what CD-ROMs were the other day about when Doreen Kingsley did interactive kind of CD-ROMs, and they did the way things work or how stuff works. And it was like you just explored inventions, and then you could animate stuff and see, and it was like, this is how a screw turns, and it
I
was
remember wanting that.
incredible. And someone digitized it, and it's all online, and it's the most incredible thing.
Nice.
I in fact bought that, but it was for Mac, and I had a PC, and this was a long time ago. That must have been like at least 20 years ago.
Yeah, at least.
So I didn't even know what the difference was. That was sad.
I may have done a small project on that when I was doing my PGC.
Oh, amazing.
See the effectiveness, the efficiency of CD-ROM technologies. Yes, we have had a suggestion from Kelly, the gentleman maker, that actually donuts from a clay pigeon launcher.
Or you could do like pancakes as well then.
They'd have to be Scotch
So-
pancakes though for the rigidity.
How about
Yeah.
Yes, that would work. Yeah.
next year everyone comes to Maker Central with some sort of sweet dispensing machine? However simple, however complicated, whatever sweet thing of your choice, and we just see what happens.
Well,
I have to say, I don't think that would be fair on the cleaning stuff.
I'm not saying it all has to
Very
be
true.
involved propulsion. It could be, just nice little gumball machine kind
It
of.
might have
adapted
worked
setup.
well this year with the dentist's symposium that was in the Hilton.
yes.
Because
Just
of
when
Yes.
people
Yes.
need replacements. Yeah.
Yeah, because in the hall
So
opposite,
someone
the
needs to
one
bring
we
a
were in
top
was all
hole in.
dentists.
Yeah.
If you go sweet dispenser machines, just stick humbugs in a Nerf gun.
That's a way to take someone's teeth out, an eye.
Yeah, there may be an issue with that. Yeah.
Take your eye out, put it in your mouth, suck on the shrapnel, and then it'll take your teeth out just over a very long.
What, the
period
shrapnel
of
of the gumball or your eye?
time. I meant the shrapnel.
We've had another suggestion: a waffle trebuchet.
Nice.
Yes.
Peter, I could see you.
Again-
I could see you go down the trebuchet route. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a lot of potential, hasn't it? I was thinking
Yeah.
trebuchet with scones, perhaps. The right kind of density.
Pre-prepared or still just?
I
uncooked?
think pre-prepared,
But
which brings up the
pre-prepared in
age-old
the wrong
question
fashion.
of the age-old question of jam or cream on first.
You could do, but if you put them back together, then it doesn't really matter because
Yeah.
depending on which way up it
Right,
lands.
could be
it's-
just upside down. Very good point. Yeah.
Could you bake a scone with jam and cream inside, like with a jam cream filling? So almost like a donut, but a scone with jam and cream inside.
I think donuts are injected after they're cooked.
Yeah.
Don't ruin the dream. Come on.
Sorry.
But maybe there's a way to.
But you get the way you can get was it like Araldite style epoxy stuff that's got the twisty end, so the two different flavors of stuff twizzles together. You could get the double twizzle injection for your scone to twizzle your butter and your jam. That was a long sentence. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get it.
Frighteningly, we know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
The double twizzle scone injection.
Someone will get the URL. Either that or James from Molten Make will have the stickers done soon.
Yeah, just don't mix up the Araldite though.
Well,
Have to
you
be
sort of-
really
Why
clear
is this project
packaging.
not sticking back together? It's
It's jamming.
put the
Grandma,
jam
don't
on
eat that
first. That's
scone.
why.
Yeah, we're not encouraging anyone to try eating your. Let's just put that out there.
correct. I suppose we could always go the Scottish approach and kind of hollow out the scone, put the jam and cream in, and then just batter it and deep fry it.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Like
thought you were
then.
going for the Scotch approach, where you get the scone on the outside, then
You
a
could
layer of
Scotch it, yeah.
sausage, and then a layer of egg. But it could be a cream egg because it's a dessert.
Cream egg.
I mean, wouldn't the egg be in the middle though?
Yeah, that's,
Just a sec.
Yeah.
Has anyone done a Scotch cream egg?
Yeah.
I think there are. Quite
I
a
feel
few,
like
yeah.
that
It's.
exists.
I'm pretty sure it's been done. Yeah.
I think Steve from Birmingham Metalworks has shown a couple off at me before to make me
There are
very envious.
multiple recipes, including by Dr. Urquhart, the baking brand.
I'm assuming it's not sausage meat that they put around the cream egg because that would not be good.
Oh, but what would you put around?
I mean,
the
people
cream
have
egg?
definitely done it with sausage meat. That's a sweet, savoury combo waiting to happen.
brownie.
I was thinking Jamaica cake. You know, the ginger.
Oh,
stuff.
Oh,
That
I
would be
do
good.
miss that. I miss that being gluten free. That was one of my favourites. Yeah,
Kind of dense stodge.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
But I do like the
controversially, I
idea.
think I'd go for the caramel egg, I think, rather than the Cadbury's cream egg.
Okay.
Cream eggs are shit.
Controversial.
Yeah.
Oh, mini eggs all the way. You can find mini eggs.
Oh, that's
They-
tooth-breaking waiting to happen, though.
I mean, that is lethal, but they're definitely easily dispensable without losing their structure.
One way
Actually,
to
that
die.
was-
And that
though,
is
yeah.
exactly the reason people buy them.
You want to be lobbing them more than shooting them. Though. Maybe a lob.
Yeah.
So
So
trebuchet.
that's more
Catapult,
the trebuchet.
like
catapult.
full-on,
Yeah, mini egg and a catapult.
Or maybe some
Oh.
sort of like, like a hidden, like an Assassin's Creed style hidden blade, but it just kind of a mini egg shoots out on a little tray or something. I don't know.
Oh, that would be good.
A web dispenser, like a web dispenser. from
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Or if you
Yeah,
want to go all out, I suspect most of you are not familiar with the idea of a claymore mine. A claymore mine, essentially, it's a slab of plastic explosive with ball bearings, normally about 600 ball bearings on one side of it. So it kind of normally slightly curved, so it blows out in an arc. And
Yeah.
obviously very, very dangerous, very lethal things. But swap the ball bearings and plastic explosives for some other thing, and
I think
mini
probably
eggs.
mini eggs
600
that's
mini
going
eggs at a
badly,
time.
but maybe Haribo is the right way to go.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to stick with the chocolate war crime, I think.
Again, needs to be on a t-shirt or a sticker.
I mean, I think we should just go the whole hog and break the Geneva Convention in another manner and just paint a red cross on it as well.
Minstrels. Claire's just suggested minstrels.
Good shout.
Good.
Yeah.
Maltesers.
M&M's.
M&Ms.
Yeah.
Only if we can coordinate with someone from America to bring peanut butter M&Ms over, because they are the best, and I don't understand why we don't have them in this country.
Agreed. Yeah. The crispy ones are a close second now.
They are.
Ooh,
Matt's had an idea.
that's got an idea.
Terry's chocolate orange. It's a cluster grenade.
Yes.
It's its own claymore almost.
Mortar, that's the word I'm looking for. It's a mortar.
Fragmentation.
So what you're talking about is just having them and yelling fire in the hole and just flinging them across the NEC.
No, I think I've got a funny feeling that the Terry's chocolate orange would fit in Al's t-shirt cannon as well.
I think I might have to reiterate.
So I did bring some chocolate oranges to Maker Central, and we discovered that they are almost pre-broken now. So the tap and unwrap actually works. You don't have to smash it against concrete to get
The
anyone
bad
in.
thing is there's not the central bit. The central bit that you used to fight over is not that sturdy, amazing
really?
bit of chocolate that it used to be. It's not there.
No.
I didn't find
Has-
one this
have
year. I
anyone-
was looking for one. I found some last. This you can only find the Terry's chocolate segment bars, which is just a cop out.
Tesco sell the chocolate orange because my youngest had an exam last Friday, Friday before last, which I kind of had to wait for leaving to find out how that had gone, and I left a chocolate orange on the stairs for them when they got back because they like chocolate oranges. And it was like,
What a good dad.
yeah. I'm not bugging off to Birmingham for the weekend. But,
Yeah, of course.
Chocolate orange is a close second to a dad, though.
Dad, your chips though.
Yeah.
Chips.
I was at a pub a few weeks ago with some parents and toddlers, and it seemed in multiple occasions the answer to Daddy or chips was no. They just went elsewhere. There was both Daddy and chips. They chose neither.
Toddlers will do that. I think we have 34 minutes in. We've kind of I think we've reflected on the fact that we've all been to Maker Central, got a creativity. I want to say enema, but that's probably not the right word to say. A definite boost in creativity, and we're all probably
And
still
a plan to ruin next year's.
Yeah, we're still slightly exhausted.
Why not follow your creativity, Enema, with a chocolate war crime?
Marketing rights itself, I think.
Oh my god, that needs to be a t-shirt. I'm going to make a little note of the time there for that one.
I think, as someone said in the chat earlier, what we've worked out is how to make next Maker Central the last Maker Central.
Yeah, correct. I mean, just trying to get the health and safety form filled in to get this past the NEC, I think it's going to be fun enough.
I mean, I'm sure we've got enough firepower to get past the NEC.
I mean, as long as you say the words, we've assessed the risk, there is a risk, and we will do everything we can to negate the risk, you're fine.
Yeah. I walked through the front door with a sword.
Risk mitigations, hungry participants.
Yeah.
Safety glasses. That's always the answer. Yeah, I was a science teacher. That's always the answer. Safety glasses.
We'll pre-warm the chocolate so it doesn't hurt as much.
Did you try that minstrels and tea, Jamie?
No, I haven't yet.
Put some minstrels in your tea and scoop them out with your spoon, and you're in heaven.
It's the same thing as putting mini eggs in the microwave.
That's exactly what I was just about to say, Becky.
I tried that out. Yeah, yes. Warmed mini eggs are nice.
Yeah, because they're still crunchy and it's just. We're just going off on amazing food. We can fire at people now.
Yeah. Well, this is the controversial topic: is chocolate in the fridge, yay or nay?
No, fuck off.
No, right.
Chocolate is specifically designed for its melting point, being at about human body temperature. When you put it in the fridge, you're either one hell of a chocolate tease, or you just don't understand the point. Yes, I have strong opinions about two foods. It's chocolate and it's potato.
So no potatoes in the fridge either, I'm guessing.
You broke me with that one.
Peter, how was it having a stand this year at Maker Central?
Well, it was a bit, it was fine. it was a smaller stand than last year, and a lot cheaper too. So no, it was good.
You shared a stand. I mean, you were there with Stuart from Proper DIY, and Vicky, Carpenter's daughter, and I'm sure I saw Charlie
DIY and Matt Esley came along, and we did a talk, a live Q&A, which is a little bit nerve-wracking because although I'm happy enough blathering to a camera in my workshop, I've never actually spoken publicly before, so that was a bit of a jumping in at the deep end. Doing a live Q&A that was fun. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was a good event. We got the graveyard shift, so the first slot on a Sunday morning, where the only people who are there are just sort of asleep from the night before. But we managed to. We were on stage 2, because obviously the proper YouTubers go on stage 1, the foreigners, all that, and so we were on stage 2, which had a couple hundred seats in it, and we filled it. I was going to say I didn't get there myself. I didn't get there myself, but we filled it, and there were people standing around the outsides as well. So yeah, it's a good event, good fun. But yeah, Maker Central. It's great to try and connect with people. But if you're on a stand, as Becky said, you're kind of stuck on it all day. If you're lucky, you might get a toilet break, and if you're really lucky, somebody might bring you a sandwich and a cup of coffee. But other than that, you're kind of doing the show pony thing and meeting and greeting and smiling nicely and politely to the same old questions. No, the podcast isn't coming back. And no, I haven't got my saw yet. Good show, good event. I've been to every one apart from the very first one when I got my dates wrong, got my bank holiday weekend wrong, and ended up in New York instead of Birmingham. I thought I got a better part of the deal, to be honest. But no, I've been to everyone since then, and I've had a stand at everyone as well. So it's been a bit. I've never really seen the show, as I said before, other than a quick walk around.
And you've had 3 different styles of stand, because the first year you were there with Andy Mack, not dissimilar to Gosforth Handyman, not dissimilar to what you did this year in terms of. Yeah, that's quite enclosed, wasn't it? It was a
standard 3 meter square about a 3-meter cube, more or less, but without the roof. Little stand, and that was really full on. That really surprised us because, we'd both been on YouTube for a couple of years, and Andy a little bit longer. We had a podcast at the time, and that had been going okay for a few months. And we literally didn't I'd never done any kind of trade show, maker fair kind of thing before, and we arrived at bright and early on the Saturday morning, and we just didn't get off the stand until 6:30.
Yeah.
In the evening. It's just bizarre. It's the first kind of experience of that kind of fandom. It's a bit weird, really.
Yeah, it's a very different experience from kind of, obviously you get a lot of comments. You've got a very good following on the 10-minute workshop. You've got quite a community behind you with that, but it must be a very different experience from kind of interacting with people through comments, and then suddenly people coming up, and a lot of people coming up, and spending all day talking.
I was broken. Well, hilariously, we actually me and Andy did the first Maker Central that we did 2019. We did this sort of utterly dispiriting, exhausting day, a little bit like giving birth. You're euphoric and utterly shattered. And then we went and recorded a podcast in the evening, sounding like two wretched old men, scratchy, broken voices.
You had all the energy you needed for that podcast.
Exactly, yeah, it was a real humdinger, And then
that's exactly why Andy and I didn't do that. It's going to be good.
Yeah. And then we went and hit the bar later on. So that was a long old Sunday.
Did you find that chatting to people who know you from being online surprisingly energy zapping?
Yeah, it's a very different kind of thing, because we sort of know who we are here, but people coming up to you who know an awful lot about you, and you know nothing about them, and in the nicest way, you build a community online, and what I call it, parasocial relationships. We're not friends, but we kind of are, but we're really not. And there's this thing where there's this boundary. In fact, the first year I did it, I actually had a table sort of in front of me, so I was sort of behind the counter and they were out there, kind of thing, and they kept creeping round, wanted to touch me. It is a strange, and as you say, strangely exhausting experience, because you're doing that thing all the time where you're not quite on your best behavior, but you're on consciously polite. Yeah, you're on. You're here. Your showtime. This is what we do. Yeah. Well, it's a bit like making YouTube videos. If we made YouTube videos like we are normally, nobody would watch them, because you've got to be all lively and a little bit more peppy. Yeah.
It's funny because I felt similar to self when I recognised off the internet, but I've worked in the media for about 15 years, so I've seen some of the Hollywood stars and stuff being interviewed, and it's the same with them, in that obviously not to the level of fame and stuff, but it's the turning on your public persona and then having an interview, having a chat with someone, like meeting and greeting, and then walking around the corner and then going, relaxing all of your muscles.
Yeah. It's like getting into character, like actors talk about it. Yeah.
Teachers too.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's really it's a common thing for teachers.
Yeah.
You kind of have to. You walk out of the office or prep room in the case of a science teacher, and then you learn to turn it on.
You're presenting.
Totally.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Be it like content style presenting, or presenting in front of an audience, or either way, you're presenting yourself, and that takes energy rather than having to just exist.
Yeah. So, do you think you do anything different for next year, Peter? Do you think?
I think we'll probably do. Quite enjoyed. It was really good to do a stand with other people. Last year, I tried to get a few more people together, so I had a much bigger, a much more expensive stand, and unfortunately, for a variety of reasons, it didn't quite work out. So I was on the stand with Stuart was there with me last year, and Carl Pope. So it was we were a little bit spread out. It was a little bit thin, but Stuart Proper DIY kind of organised it much better this year. Especially should have had Stuart as my manager. We had a smaller stand, which is much more affordable, but the right sort of size, and we got the live chat going on the Sunday morning. I've got a little WhatsApp group going that came out of the podcast that I had, and we've got a few sort of well-known makers, woodworkers, DIYers from YouTube and Instagram on that. And we got a few of us together to do this chat, and then because we had the stand, we had to clear off stage 2 once we had our professional hour of 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So we all went back to the stand, and that was great. We blocked the aisles, and the fire marshals got a bit testy with us. So it was great, really good, really nice vibe. And the feedback was really good. The feedback from the audience was, just a bit of feedback, bit of a suggestion. Next year, try and get Keith Brown, Rag and Bone Brown, and Andy Mack, Gus with Handy. Well, if that's the only complaint people have, that there weren't enough of us, then fine. We'll see what we can do. I think it'll be a
kind compliment, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think it'll be a cold day in hell before Keith Rag and Bone Brown comes to one of those events, because he's not very comfortable in those sort of environments. But he's a lovely guy, and we'd love to have him along. So you never know. But yeah, it's good.
Really, the full bar that he can step back from without people coming at him.
Security.
Quiet room to sit in. Yeah.
It's good. I mean, just thinking about that group in particular, it's nice to actually see we've got this rising group of UK-based woodworkers, makers who are kind of starting to kind of be seen as just raising that bar of versus against maybe some of the American makers particularly.
It's a good group, and it's I put a little. We have a pre-Christmas lunch drink up really every year, and it's good fun. But it's in a restaurant and it's noisy, and you can't. You're all strung out on a table. You never really get conversations going. So I had organised a little meetup for us earlier in the year, end of February, around King's Cross, and that was a really nice day just to sit and talk and knock around a few ideas and things. And we all felt that it was a really good occasion for us all to. It's unusual, I think, for a group of people who are, if not at the top of their game, fairly good at what they do on YouTube or Instagram or whatever social thing that they do, who are in a similar sector, so whether it's woodworking, DIY, or whatever else, who aren't actually in competition with each other. And I think that's potentially quite a powerful thing to leverage. That I think we could do our own little Maker Central sort of show. Ooh. But they're much more focused on what we do rather than battling robots, which there weren't any battling robots this year.
There were some robots with the capacity.
There were some robots. There absolutely, and some of those weren't human. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Although I did try and get through the when we were either loading or unloading, one or the other, the kind of the little gap that we had at like 2.2, I think it was, the back doors. I kind of went to wander out at one point, and Johnny 5 was kind of coming at me from down the ramp. This moment, like, I didn't do it. Felt like the
T1 from Podpad Studios. I mean, that's scary as anything. That is. I mean, it'll recognize humans. It'll recognize even if a human is aiming a gun at it, and then just the chain guns will just obliterate it. Thankfully, they don't have real chain guns.
We're back to Warcry.
Mini eggs in the Gatling gun.
Well, I'm just going to say, I think I need to speak to Mr. Breaker and Mrs. Breaker. I think they're about can they fit them with mini eggs? Yeah.
Microwave or not though?
enough components in there to heat him in the egg quite well. Yeah,
got to be a little propane burner in there just to warm things
just
up.
make them break
necessary.
the speed of sound, and just the friction of the air might.
If you're far enough away,
paintball guns or something.
I was just before this playing Kerbal Space Program, so making things, launching them, and breaking them is very much in my mind right now.
Kev, you were there as a punter. You weren't on the sort of stands at all, although a well-known name and people certainly flocking to you. You always had people around you whenever I saw you.
I was certainly in groups. Like I had a little bit of anxiety on my way over, thinking, are these people going to be like they are when I'm talking to them online? It's my first time there. I tried to go last year and I caught COVID just before I was to go, so I didn't make it. But I just had an amazing time. Like, I didn't see much. I didn't go to many stands. I just strolled around, met someone, had a chat. Strolled around, met someone else, had a chat. It was brilliant. Like really opened my mind to how nice the maker community is, I suppose. Like, you know, like the people that I was going with, so I was supposed to meet up with like Make It Sof, James, #Woodworking, Simply Ornate, Sarah, Uplift Furnishing, and Brothers Make, but they were all staying the Hilton. I ended up staying the Premier Inn. And the first morning going up to the NEC, I was just sitting outside, I was on the phone to someone, and I spotted Cuz. I gave him a wave, and that was that. I was walking to the NEC with Cuz and Ola, and then strolled around. Cuz disappeared, just walking around with Ola. Then I met someone else, then I met someone. Yeah, it was just brilliant. It was like non-stop meeting people that I'd never met, but I'd met, if you know what I mean. Like, it was, it was amazing. Like, I'm there next year, 100%.
Fantastic. It's a really
try and do a bit more, but I was blown away.
I can understand what you say about the anxiety for meeting up with people off the internet, though, because I was the same last year. Because I've chatted to a lot of the maker community online, but I haven't seen any of them in person. I went to maker fairs and stuff, but that was over a decade ago now. Before I've done anything makery in person, so. Yeah, I nearly didn't go last year until Alex Jurassic and Ruth Amos kind of gave me a kick up the arse and said, "Come along." And I'm glad I did.
And then you got lumbered in our sort of friends group then. Dragged you in kicking and screaming.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you could have Facebook. I don't really do it anymore, but like, I'd be friends with certain people that I was friends with in school, or I knew from school, or wasn't really friends with, but they friend request you. But like, some of those people, if they see it in public, would kind of turn you away and wouldn't look at you. But like, I was standing at the Maker stand, and someone strolled up and shook my hand, and I had to look at the T-shirt because it doesn't show his face on screen. Like, oh yeah, how are you? You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, it was just, everyone was so friendly. I think most people have that little anxiety, I suppose. But once you get there, it's kind of, it alleviates the anxiety that you had. Like just strolling into the Hilton Bar and getting hugged by everyone. I was like, here we are. Here's my people. I'm happy.
Yeah, it's like I'm actually among friends rather than like just people I know, kind of thing.
It's weirdly reminiscent of school, isn't it? Though, like the school disco, the school dance, you go in and oh God, is everybody going to ignore me? You know, is there anybody there I know? You know?
Exactly.
But you think you grow out of this stuff, but you don't really.
No.
And it's interesting because a friend who was helping me understand, who is not part of the making community and was just drafted in last minute because we'd lost some people and desperately needed not to be on my own on the stand, has done. He's an IT consultant, but he has done a lot of different conventions at the NEC, and he came away saying, "God, makers are lovely, aren't they?"
It's true. Yeah, so true.
It is.
I suppose everyone's there for passion reasons rather than for business reasons.
Yeah,
You're not exactly going to it for the swag.
Like there's an icebreaker before you even start, because you're all somewhat in the same you know, you mightn't do the exact same thing, but you'd all have a passion for that, like for creating, for making, like, and even on that end of it, I feel a bit like I have that imposter syndrome because I'm around these people that are just phenomenal makers, and me just tinkering away doing little bits and bobs. Like, you know what I mean?
That's a good point though, Kev, because that's one thing that a few of us discussed over the weekend, was that kind of that way that all the makers seem to have of wanting to either learn or share what they know. So even any of us that have got that feeling of being an imposter in that situation, the second a conversation gets into some kind of maker related thing,
100%.
It just disappears. It just evaporates as we all start either going, "Oh, teach me what you know," or "Let me tell you what I know about this situation." It seems to be like a universal experience with all of us.
Because everyone seems to want to try to do the next thing. Like obviously, I want to try welding. I want to try blacksmithing. I want to try some sewing. I want to try everything. Not so much on the tech end of it, because I fell out of that a long time ago. But like hands-on stuff. I love the tech stuff, but I just don't have the brain for it these days. But like everyone that I met in some way, shape, or form wanted to do the next thing. Like, and I'm like, yep, I'm all over that. I'm all over that.
Yeah.
Definitely. I suppose we're all just a group of people that want to do things with our hands.
Yes. It's like, oh, you guys. Still big kids.
Yeah.
That's it.
True.
Or neurodivergent convention.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to do a little sort of get some psychologists in.
I think we say this every week, Andy, and I think the podcast is just our scientific record at this point, pretty much.
What's that? A group of people who are surprisingly passionate about one topic.
Hyper focus on certain things and then get distracted by another thing, and
But if that's what like happens with a group of neurodivergent people, we need more groups of it in the world, because it's fucking amazing. Like, it is. It's a phenomenal thing. Like, I'm sorry, like words are escaping me, but like being there with those people, like Nate, because I was involved in Movember, Nate went and got checked, and he got diagnosed with autism, like, and he just said that it opened up his whole way of thinking about how he's lived his life up until now, and it's just helped him so much. But like, he's one of the nicest people I've ever met. You know what I mean? Like, and like if that's neurodivergency, give it to me in spades. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's like group therapy, isn't it? Really, the maker community.
I think there's a lot of, it's the finding your people, and there is that feeling of, if you've spent your entire life trying to fit into that box that is quite structured and involves normal jobs and things like that, and you suddenly find out there's another way of living, and it's like, oh yeah, this fits now. This does work, and this supports me, and this I can actually do my best work rather than struggling and still not achieving what I thought I could.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's also being around people that you have lots in common with, because with normal friend groups, you have things in common with certain people, but this kind of maker stuff, creating side of things is slightly more niche in the world, I think. And to have so many people with that one shared interest, at least as a category in one place, is what I don't know. I find it really inspirational. Like I've been in a block for a few months where I haven't been bothered to make stuff, and then coming straight out of that, I'm firing on all cylinders, as the phrase goes.
Matt, I have the ultimate way to get you out of a block. It's to book a stand at Maker Central with nothing made yet.
That'll do.
Really motivates you.
That's what got me out of it as well. I need to finish this workbench.
Yeah, similar with the sword. Yeah, because I wanted to deliver it, because I didn't want to have to try and post it as much as anything. And it was just like, the number of 2:30 mornings the week before last I had.
I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? If you've been prepping for Maker Central, the week after is not just recovering the weekend, it's actually recovering. I feel like I'm recovering the 2 months that went before Maker Central right now.
Yeah.
Dipping into
I
the
did it
reserves.
the other way around. Because I did Makers Central, but as a attendee. But then this week I did I met up with Morley Kurt, a Canadian YouTuber.
Yes, you did.
3D printing,
Yeah.
and we filmed a video together on Wednesday, and that was. I went straight from Maker Central into planning and setting up and getting ready for that one.
Obviously, not spoiling no spoilers, but did it go well?
Yeah. We were doing. I can say what it was because we were promoting it. We were.
Yeah, well, yes,
we were
free
doing free repairs for people. We had a 3D printer there, and people could have brought in whatever they wanted that was broken. Let us have a go, and we had things to do all day. And in fact, one thing, someone obviously turned up at 5:30 when there was already something on the printer. It needed another hour to go, so I couldn't help them out. But I've done it for them at home. Just made that. There you go.
Nice.
For anyone that's listening, and that's your little tease for what might be to come in my video in June.
You're going to release at the same time.
Oh yeah, proper marketing strategy.
Proper YouTubers. Yeah.
Nice.
Sounds good. Now, Becky, talking about preparation, because obviously you were there on a stand as well, but you didn't. I mean, Peter, you turned up with a couple of examples of some work that you've been working on.
Yeah,
products.
That's right. Last year was a bit salesy because I had a very expensive stand to pay for, so I had to sort of crank out some product. This year I didn't want to do any sales because I was on my own particularly, and I just it changes the nature of it if you're trying to do sales on a stand, and I just wanted it to be a meet and greet and just to showcase a few bits and pieces that I've got coming through the next couple of products. So.
Becky, you went almost entirely the other way, didn't you? Because you weren't just there. You weren't doing meet and greet. You were introducing an entire
concept,
an entire concept, a new storyline, and it's all very exciting. But you had to actually have stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think we confused a few people who came in and went, so what are the products? What are you selling? And it was like, that's not what we're doing here. I mean, it's a bit, I don't know, different. Because I came last year as a punter to Maker Central, which was my first year was going to be 2020. So we know how that went. So I came last year for the first time and kind of went as a punter. And this idea for the Museum of Impossible Things has been in my head for years. And I was like, there's nothing quite like this. I reckon we can fit here. Let's see what happens. And then just booked it and went for it. And I only regret it slightly now. It's taking up my entire conservatory in my house. But
did you say you only started making those things shortly before Maker Central as well? Then?
I finished. I was working as a technician at the local makerspace, and trying to wrap up the last of my video editing clients to sort of go making full time. And I finished both those jobs at the end of March. So at the end of March, I really started. I had a few bits and bobs, but at the end of March, I really went, right, now we're full on.
That's made what I saw on your stand even more impressive, because it's like, it's the wanky term for it is mixed media.
Yeah.
Because it's art and screens and lights and electronics and physical things, and that's to go from
all of the
to
stuff.
combination is
at
quality level is good.
How much planning had you done? How much planning?
A lot. I mean, this has been in my head for years, and then probably about a year ago, I started seriously planning it and working out, doing prototypes and working out how everything was going to work, and doing design drawings so I could get other people on board, or at least have other people's input, and it wasn't all just inside my head. So it was probably, I'd say 6 months of kind of solid planning, and then 2 months of actually making stuff.
Wow, and some seriously good stuff too. If anyone didn't go to see the Museum of Impossible Things, you really did miss out. And that stained glass I'm not going to give things away, but yeah, the stained glass. You had 2 pieces of stained glass there, and they were magical.
Yeah,
it was one of
I'm
those sort of
gonna
things. You
try
kind
and-
of you sort of see them. You walk in, you sort of see them, and then you suddenly go, "Ooh, ooh." I think that was kind of pretty much my reaction.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try and get, not this week, because this week I'm having off, but I'm going to try and get it all, bits of it nicely set up and get some nice video footage, because as you said to me earlier, Andy, there was a lot that no one took pictures. No one took pictures, no one took video, because everyone was busy looking at things, which is great and is what you want.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean,
Yeah,
that sort of says something
You
in
want
itself.
in the moment experiencing it. That's kind of what
Yeah.
it was designed for. But yeah, it means I haven't got any good footage of it at all. So I will put things back up and take some good footage. And I've already started revising everything and making it better and improving it and changing it.
And of course, there's the dragon jaw chair as well that we didn't discuss. Yeah.
No pressure then.
Well, the Dragon Jaw chair is something that Andy came up with, and then we came up with ideas, and then it got further and further, and now I kind of have to make it. So that's happening.
If I lived closer, I'd offer to help, but yeah, with the other side of the country. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Excuses. Kids invent stuff. Go from Yorkshire to Cornwall.
Yeah, exactly.
Only a bit of road.
Yeah, they got better roads. I mean, I live in Kent. I mean, the roads in Kent are awful.
I'm not sure they're much better in Bristol. But yeah, it's so yeah, it was a good first. I guess it was a good kind of launch for us, and a good kind of first. I'm calling it a tester. I guess a soft launch of like seeing what people liked, what worked, what doesn't, what kind of draws people in. And I mean, it always had it in the back of my head that that I was building a place that I would have wanted to have as a kid, that I would have wanted this experience and this exhibition and this immersive place to exist. I did not comprehend quite how much kids were going to love it.
Oh, that's good. You aimed for that and you got there. That's nice.
Yeah. But we got sort of different reactions from kids, and kids who would sort of one girl just strode in and she went, "Are you using an infinity mirror for that?" And I was like, "Yep." She just went straight in like, "Right, I'm going to solve all the technology." Sort of had the mini makers who were already often doing it and kind of were working things out. Kids who wanted to know how it worked, and the kids who just wanted the illusion maintained, who just wanted the magic. And it's
and
it was
kids
great.
that were all different sizes, I would imagine, because I
and
saw a lot of
ages,
adult places change to sudden.
Yeah, my favorite quote of the weekend was there was one little girl who said, it sort of sidled up to me and said, "Did the fairies help make it?" And that was adorable. And I said, "Of course." And then there was I'm going to say teenage boy with his AirPods in, just sort of strolled in, and he took his AirPod out and he looked at me and he went, "This is sick, man." And put his AirPod back in. So that's it. Peaked. That's the greatest.
That's the two ends of the spectrum right there.
Yeah. So yeah, it was. I think I'm still processing it. It was an incredible kind of weekend. It did. I don't know, you go when you're doing something completely new, whatever it is, if it's a build or you're changing careers or you're doing something with your life, or you're putting something out there, you kind of don't know how it's going to go because you're doing something completely new, and you kind of, in the back of your head, you have like the dream expectation, and then in the other side of your head, you have the absolute failure that it's just going to be awful and it's not going to work at all. And it trumped all of those expectations. I sort of didn't know. I didn't have an expectation because I didn't know quite what it could be, and it was a great weekend.
Oh, brilliant. So back next year?
Yep. I mean, we've got the dates, haven't we? So
we have.
Yeah,
we have indeed.
Yeah, so back next year, going to see if we can go for something slightly bigger stand next year, see what we can come up with.
Investment.
Well, you'll need it for the dragon chair and the dragon hammock. Yeah, the rib cage hammock. Yeah.
Well, the nice thing is that the number of makers who actually came up and kind of, gave their details and kind of messaged me and said, "Look, I'd love to get involved with doing something for it." And so it was mostly me and a team of about 3 putting it together this year. And so the idea of actually having like a full-on community contributing towards this and actually it being a showcase for what all sorts of artists can achieve makes next year a bit more feasible.
So hopefully that'll be something, because you've just launched and you're launching a newsletter.
Yeah, we have a newsletter,
so...
and yes, because Andy has nudged me about this a lot. There is a Patreon coming. We're working on it. It's not up yet, but there is a Patreon coming.
Good, because obviously making something like that is not going to be cheap, and I think I look forward to seeing what's in the kind of newsletter with regards to how people can get involved.
Yeah, we'll come up with
no pressure.
With a strategy.
No pressure.
Build a dragon chair. Tell us how to get involved. Get a Patreon.
Yeah.
Easy.
Just here to help.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah,
Jamie, you were creating work.
Yeah, Jamie, you spent most of the weekend, along with several others, almost entirely tied to the Make with Makers stand. I mean, we've discussed the fact that we've already discussed separately the fact that quite a few of you just were literally embedded into that stand. Like Peter sort of said, just don't get to see any of the show really. But from your point of view, the Make with Makers stand, how did that go?
It was phenomenal. I mean, absolutely. There were a couple of very lovely friends who sort of at various points would either bring bottles of water or bits of food and snacks and Welsh cakes and things, or at one point I sort of physically removed from the stand and kind of pushed towards Subway. It's just take a breath, go and eat something, then come back. It's just full on. We had no idea how we changed the format this year from previous years, because last year we had sort of set times for set of kind of events that people could participate in. And this year we kind of shortened the timescale down per participant, if you like. So rather than something that would be, a set event for say 6 or 8 people that would take an hour to an hour and a half, this was kind of people could rock up and kind of work through something smaller. And we didn't have any concept of how kind of busy it was going to be. But James from Molten Make and I we were making kind of leather key rings and bracelets and things. And we just absolutely flew through all of our materials. We ran out sort of halfway. I brought 50 split rings, and we'd ran out by 1:30 on the Saturday.
And you wore out your press, your 3D printed press die. So the Construct 3D guys, they sort of saved our bacon a little bit because we were using 3D printed dies in a press to kind of block out the shape for people to work through, and we had a range of them that we could pick from, but there was one particular that was just super popular. So it just got so much use, it just completely distorted and squished all the plastic out. So we were getting replacement parts, and then people bringing more, kind of split rings over to us. And Neil from NMB Woodworks was running around like an absolute trooper, trying to find, who was selling anything that we could do, and kind of bring us bottles of water and kind of keeping us on our feet. But even like Ellen and Lucas with the things that they were doing with the sewing the pouches and doing the glove puppets. The 3 kind of main things that all of us from everything was just flat out for the whole time. It was super popular, which is fantastic to see. It was just such a whirlwind. I think I sort of ran past you a handful of times, Becky, just sort of on the way to trying to do something else. I'll come back, and then never managed it.
Yeah.
So it was a wonderful experience because there was so many like amazing moments, like you with the kids and stuff, of kind of seeing these people of all ages coming in and like the wonder on their face of actually making something and being able to just take it away. And it's such a kind of enriching experience for us. You know, I had a fantastic experience with a young girl that was, a young woman rather, who was doing a bracelet, and she'd been wanting to try leatherwork for years and just hadn't had that opportunity. And she just kind of came and sat and made this bracelet, and we kind of talked through the whole kind of process. And she was just like so overwhelmed by the end of it. She didn't quite know how to be. You know, when you sort of trying to convey gratitude beyond your language ability kind of thing. You know, she was kind of you could see it really like meant a lot to her to be able to come and experience this. You know, kind of that takeaway of like, right, I want to do more now. You know, just that moment alone was just that made it. You know, it's really wonderful, exhausting but wonderful.
So I mean, it's that. I mean, for me, there's the two elements to sort of make essential, and that's the people, which I think we've all sort of discussed. Yeah, meeting our friends again. Yeah, and sometimes meeting friends we've known maybe online. I mean, I sort of as a couple of people said, the first time I turned up in 2019, it was just like, obviously I knew a lot of people, and I kind of I picked somebody up from the airport on the way, and then kind of walking into the Hilton thinking, is anyone going to know who I am? And I'll know people because obviously I watch these people on there. And then suddenly, you've got people literally sort of coming up to you and giving you
crowding around you. Yeah,
no idea who you are. It's like suddenly you kind of very kind of essentially introvert, and then kind of suddenly you've got people that you kind of some people you admire, people that you've kind of watched, and people you've chatted with, and sometimes more so than others. And all of a sudden, people are kind of saying hello. So there's definitely that people thing. Yeah, it's that kind of introvert boost, the social boost you get from being around fellow introverts, and it's obviously which is then tied with the kind of the social battery kind of going down because you're out with lots of it's like why the general public allowed out in public type sort of affair. But then there's the inspiration thing. There is that kind of you're seeing things. The creativity. You're thinking of the ideas. What can I do? What can I do next year? I saw that, and I'd like to do something similar to that next year. Or I want to get involved in that. I want to help out with that. And and if people are listening, thinking, I'd like to get involved. Just reach out to somebody. If you saw something like Make for Makers, you think there's something I do that I could work with there. Reach out, because if more people get involved, then actually people like Jamie get more time to actually go and have a look around as well, rather than just spending all weekend.
I sort of had this plan going into it that we'd sort of have a bit of overlap. We could have had 10 people working on the stand at any one time, obviously with a load of friends there. So my sort of plan was, kind of Saturday morning we'd kind of run through with a couple of the friends to kind of give them a bit of a crash course on using the kit, making what we were making, so that we could have that kind of breakaway. And it was just so busy trying to kind of get all the last minute bits sorted. We never got around to doing that. But at one point, Idris turned up, and I know his skill set enough to be able to just go, right, grab this, do this, speak to the people, I'm off. And then just had a quick run to the 3D printer people to try find some bits. And came back, kind of 5-10 minutes later, and he was big, massive beaming smile on his face. He, absolutely loved it. So that's the plan for next year. I think is make sure that we can actually have a bit of overlap with some people to be able to, kind of have a few of us being able to run the same course. Sort of thing.
Probably not something that you can do, Peter, or you just sort of say, I'm going to take more time for lunch. I'm going to take more time for.
I would. My plan genuinely for this year was to not have a stand and be a bit of a show tart and pop up on a few other people's stands if I possibly could. And then Stuart suggested that we had this thing together, so it seemed like a good plan. I would genuinely love to come as a punter. Maybe if it's just for one day, and to do. I've never done leather work. I'd love to have a go at that. I just so many things that just see so many people with those twisted metal walking sticks around at the show. I'd love to have a go at that as well. Yeah,
I did suggest that we should do like an extra, hour or two on the, at some point, so that all of the people who are there can actually get a chance to walk around and see and experience the stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be really good.
They should open at 7 a.m. so that we can get. Yeah.
No. Also, the problem is we'd all be walking around and there'd be no one on any of the stands.
It's true.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Very good point.
It's like this corner can do a run around and then get back to your stands and then.
Phased walking around. Yeah.
You just walk around one big group. Like kind of
when you visit each stand, the whole
groups, so everyone walks around together. But then when you get to your stand, you then do your little bit, you show and tell, and then you get back in the group and walk to the next stand, and the person from that stand goes out and does their show and tell. Yeah,
but then Becky's going to wander around. Yeah, and Becky's going to wander around and go, "Oh wow, this stand's really pretty. Oh shit, this is me."
We should do it ABBA style though. Put up holograms while we're not there. If they can deal with it and sell out their own venue.
Was that the most interactive that Maker Central has been? There seemed to be a lot of stands that had people. Yeah. Yes. Because what I'd heard before was there wasn't enough interactivity. There was stands selling. But this year it seemed to be like I can't remember who had a scroll saw stand. Dremel had like all those different workshops going. I think Lumberjack had a few bits going there as well. Make with Makers. Yeah, there seemed to be loads to do. Like
Axminster had a lot of little stations set out where you could do stuff as well.
Axminster doing scroll work. Yeah. There seems to be
loads
to do.
The second event I'd been to, I went to the one last year, and I thought that was a bit. It was very commercial. Like I was there and I was enjoying hanging around with my friends, meeting new people, but I wasn't that bothered by the event. This time I left and I'd done exactly the same. I'd chatted to humans, but I'd forgotten to look at the event, and I was sad this time because there was actually so much to do. Rather than just being a branded shop, there were branded activities or community style activities. I only realized at the end of the last day that there were blacksmiths there. I've been to many events, like every EMF there's been blacksmiths there and you can have a go, and I have not had a go at blacksmithing yet.
Then Matt, we will have a chat after this. We will sort something out.
There's definitely certainly from my experience, I missed the first year. First year, from what I hear, there was a lot of people kind of meeting for the first time, and there were it was predominantly wood turning. I saw several comments about it being a wood turning show rather than a maker show.
Yeah.
Okay. Second year was certainly better. Third year was better still, I think, and the fourth year was this year being the fourth year was definitely the most interactive, least. I mean, there were people making sales, and obviously there were the people selling their things they'd made, and I think there was more of those. The sort of stalls really down in that corner.
Those kind of stalls up in that corner.
Yeah, they were down in the corner. It was like a little kind of marketplace type area, and that was great.
Less, like last year, there was the Makers Market was there, but it was so off in its own corner. It was so quiet, like it wasn't part of the main show, and they were just so quiet. It felt really kind of, you felt quite sorry for all the makers who were kind of there, seeing like 10 people an hour, and it was like this year it was buzz. I crept down there once to say hello to Joe, who does leather crafts, and it was really buzzing.
Did you find Sunday was quite buzzy as well?
It started slow and then it kicked off.
Yeah. We found a lot more families, I think, because from what I gather, they changed the pricing on the tickets so that the adults paid a little bit more, but kids were free up to age 16. So it meant there were a lot more of an incentive to get families there. So we had at one point we closed our stand down on the leatherwork to have it was a family of 6 that all wanted to make stuff at the same time. So we kind of closed off to everyone else while they were kind of all in together.
Cool. Definitely smaller children this year, which is just fantastic. Yeah, that's how you get young people interested in making is make things like this accessible. And obviously, there were some of those sort of YouTubers that are particularly attractive to younger, Frankly Built and Emily the Engineer in their kind of Iron Man suits, and of course Colin Furze with his very long cube.
Very long.
And that Matt Gray fella off the internet.
Yeah.
Not a single child was there for me. But what I did like on the children front is that not only were there a good mix of them all getting involved, but there was none of the traditional gender roles being enforced either. Like everyone was having a go at everything and being allowed to do so, and not being told that for us when we were little that would have been weird. Like it's just being free to make.
And I mean, going back to the sort of neurodivergent point, the number of kids with sort of sensory toys or headphones on and sort of with their, it's just like, there's the space for that now, which there wasn't when we were kids at all. There wasn't. If you were a bit weird and you found things like that overstimulated, you cried in the car on the way home.
I think as well, that not just for the kids, but for the adults, the amount of times just in each of the Maker Centrals, there's been a collective group of introverts all stood there being introverted together, which I think is just a wonderful thing to see, of just these, really sort of awkward introverted people all stood there having a conversation, but in a way that is comfortable enough for them, which is just wonderful.
But it's that community thing, though, isn't it? It's the maker community at large, maker family. It's those kind of those things I often use as hashtags on Twitter and Instagram. But it's true. You go to somewhere like Maker Central and you can find your people, and that's just it's a really kind of as Steve would say, that's spiffing. I mean, it's just it was a wonderful event again, and I think it's just fantastic to kind of sort of see. I think probably we don't run along tonight. We could talk about it, but I'm still exhausted from it. I'm sure you guys are too. So perhaps we could sort of start kind of heading towards kind of sort of rounding up by thinking about maybe one particular thing or a couple, maybe at most, that really sort of maybe caught your attention, or something that you kind of were particularly, even if you've already mentioned it, something you're particularly enamored by, that you sort of saw. Should we go alphabetical order? Or by guess first? I'll go last. Becky, what was a highlight for you for?
I'm gonna call out two things, and because no one said it yet, because Laura Matthews was there with her incredible puppet and the Phoenix. I've been following the progress of that Phoenix for months, and it is just incredible. And she's such a talented maker and puppeteer that just seeing them, I've seen videos of them, but I haven't seen them out and about yet. And just to see that in the flesh was, that was the highlight. And because she was walking around, it was sort of, you didn't need to leave your stand.
And so she's agreed to be a guest. She's going to come on as a guest on the next one at some point.
She's absolutely amazing. So that was a joy. And a quick shout out to Bentley's, who walked over to me and said, it looks like all your stuff's made out of resin. I was like, no, I hate resin. And so they went and they got me some of their clay.
Amazing.
So I've been playing with alien clay, which is basically UK monster clay. And
nice.
Which is really lovely. So that was very nice that I just told them no, and then they got me a material I actually like.
So could that be a relationship that you might be able to build on?
We'll see. We'll definitely, when I've made something, at the moment I've got a couple of commissions on. I'm making small maquettes to just get client approval on things. So when I do something bigger and try something more fun with it, I'll give them a shout and see what we can see if they can convince me that resin's okay.
Let's have a look. Who's next alphabetically? Kev.
I, as I said, didn't really I spent so much time strolling around, just glancing at things and chatting to people. I didn't really catch. I didn't really catch anything. I spent a bit of time to make with Maker Stand. I suppose the highlight for me was meeting the people, and probably the person who got me into the kind of maker community was probably Make It South, and meeting her after talking online for 7 years, maybe. So that was a pretty impressive highlight. What a person! She's freaking awesome human being. It was great to meet her. And
then future guest.
Oh yes, definitely.
Has Soph not been on yet?
No, not yet.
No, she's absolutely going to be on. but just trying to get things to line up.
Even if we have to drive up to Wales and to kind of just sort of kidnap her.
She's got a good agent. They're holding out for a big fee.
Yeah.
Wait, they pay for this?
I'm pretty sure I gave her Welsh cakes. Matt, what about you?
Well, seeing as the Phoenix has already been taken,
Sorry.
I think I'm going to have to go for Becky's stained glass. Because I got the full-on double take from that, and like, oh, that's pretty. Oh, wait a second, there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
And I'd walked past your stand and gone, and then a bit later, Andy said, no, go to that stand and have a proper look. And thanks to Andy, I had a proper look, and yeah.
Thank you.
Mind blowing, isn't it? Absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah.
Peter, what about you?
Standout event for me, I think standout of the whole event for me. Two things really. One was completely missing the Saturday night in the Hilton Bar because I'd done the after show thing that Vectric had a couple of beers. Thought 9 o'clock. I'm doing my live thing on the Sunday morning. I need to, I'll pace myself. I'll go back to the hotel and get a shower. Then I'll go down to the bar and it will be fine. So I went back to the hotel, got a shower, sat down to put my shoes on, and woke up at about 11:30. Realised that I missed it completely. Just went straight to bed. So I missed out on that, which is unfortunate. But just the general event, like Kev said, just meeting up with people again, just catching up with people who you know from online, from on Instagram, from talking or whatever. But just seeing, simply or Nate and Uplift Sarah and Make It Soph and all the people that we know off of Instagram, just catching up with them again, albeit briefly because I was stuck on the stand all day. But it was just a great event for everybody to see each other. You guys too.
It might be best that you fell asleep by accident because I think the last people, I left about midnight. The last people in the bar on that Saturday night were there at 3:30.
Rumor has it, 1 or 2 people were still there at 5:30.
Oh my!
I left at about 2, I think.
A little bit later.
Half 1, 2 o'clock. I think I left on Saturday night.
2:30.
Yeah. Particularly after the Vectric VIP event, which as I mean, they've run that every year, and it's been a fantastic event. Obviously, that's something for the VIPs. It's not just for the sort of the general punter, but it's a nice event, and that's the opportunity to be able to mix with some of the sort of the bigger names and actually have some really good conversations as well.
Definitely,
as well as some food.
I do have to apologise to anyone who was at the Vectric event and tried some of the hot sauce.
No,
it was hot. It was hot.
It was brutal.
So Phil from Darkstar bought me a bottle of the hot ones. It was the Last Dab Apollo. So
very hot.
We had to try it there and then.
The thing is, by the time they get to it on Hot Wings, they've already burnt out their taste buds with so many others. Like, we were going in cold.
Fresh. Straight with a bowl of chips. And
you had chips?
Well, so we did. So me and Becky were straight in with some chips.
Chips and rice, obviously.
I went in all guns blazing. One finger.
Yeah, so I then took, because I just so happened that a lot came out into the bowl, so or the plate, whatever it was. So I took it round for anyone else who might want to try, because I know there's a few other chili heads. And I think I lost a few friends.
You broke a few friends.
The worst of it all.
I didn't have the opportunity, but I don't think I'd like to try that, just for the fear that it would go out the same way it went in.
It was hot twice, definitely. But the worst thing is, it was on the table, and I'd moved tables and stuff, and then everyone sort of moved, and I walked away and left it. And then when I came back in the following morning to speak to them, and they said, "Oh no, sorry, we've chucked it."
I know.
So I didn't even get to take it home, which is such a shame. But I was very glad that we at least got to
Oh, Mr. Analysis. Jamie, what about you? What was your highlights?
The whole thing, just start to finish, was fantastic from where we were at in Make with Makers, because everyone came to us. So it meant I missed the show, but I got so many wonderful moments with friends coming to us, and just getting to hang out with people, and having, kind of the way we had the little barrier, just having like the group of friends stood the other side of the barrier, was fantastic. Getting insults shouted at me from Kev was. But I need to give a big shout out and kind of Claire. It's okay. I forgive you. It's perfectly fine. There was a moment where Claire completely forgot who I was. But it's
come on,
okay.
Phil. To be sure, are you sure?
Yeah, for those who've seen that on the on Instagram, I know you feel awful, and it's entirely fine. It's not like I was wearing a name badge.
To be fair, the only name badge anyone can remember when you do forget names is that everyone's just not Steve.
Not Steve.
Exactly, yeah.
It's really
Makes
not
life so much
helpful
easier.
when you suddenly think, hang on.
Steve doesn't even Steve, is he?
So yeah, Matt, do you know where that's from? Because I know you sort of come to the maker community a little bit later than everyone else here.
Well, this corner of the maker community.
Yeah,
I think
this
it's
corner
the
of
maker
it, but
community.
Our weird segment of it, yeah.
I was aware of the Steve badges last year, but I still didn't get the in-joke. So that's 2 years of seeing it and not understanding it. I think the explanation last time was there's this guy called Steve, and he doesn't like us all being called Steve as well. He's not here, so I can't explain it properly. So
it's the Fools with Bills podcast. It's Steve from Moonshine Metalworks, who hates all of the attention, but we love him, so we give him all of the attention. And Tom goes by Nikuman Droid, did those a reel of those My Name Is, and then just stamped all of them with Steve. So then first year of Maker Central just peppered everybody with a Steve badge, and it is now stuck kind of 5-6 years on at this point from whenever the first Maker Central was. But this year broke the mold by telling everyone, including Steve, that they're not Steve.
right.
How about you, Andy? What was yours?
I mean, as already said, I mean, the major thing for me was obviously the people. Yeah, that was the main reason for going. Yeah, the kind of I was on the sort of very much on the fence and on the side of the fence of not going for quite a long time. But the opportunity to catch up with friends was just too strong an opportunity to miss. There were two things that I desperately wanted to see, which I did get to see. Obviously, there were some other things that were great, and some really good stands. Apart from the individual people, that was the Museum of Impossible Things. Been very excited about that for many months now, and to sort of see that, and so I'm glad I got to see that. I just wish I'd taken some photographs, but as we've already said, it's one of those places you kind of walk in and go, oh, what? Oh, there's that. You're just looking at it, just everywhere you see. It's just like, look at that detail, and I just want more people to go and see that. I want more of it, and I want to see more people to go and see it. The other one was Podpad Studios. They brought their T1 to the event. I've been watching that kind of be built for quite a long time now, and actually sort of seeing that come to fruition, and actually then sort of seeing it in action, with the electronics in action, and that's just like,
what was it?
They have built a T1 from Terminator, so the tracked killer bot.
Right. Sorry, T1 didn't click. No.
Yeah, so they call it Tiffany. It's the T1 FNY. So they call it Tiffany. But it's the storytelling. It's for me. I mean, storytelling is just something that I love, and I love sort of seeing storytelling. And this is what Becky has done. It's developing a story, and it's what the Podpad Studios have done. They've built this story. They've got this. It's not just a T1. It's a T1 that could terminate anything. And literally, if they put real chain guns on it, I hate to think, but they've got this whole thing of kind of this is a robot to help you at your home. So they've got attachments for it for doing the vacuuming and cleaning the house. They've got a T1 with a feather duster. And it's storytelling divineness. It's just there should be
I
more
want to see it
storytelling.
hoovering Freddie Mercury style now with a leather miniskirt and
Yes.
Oh yes, so, yeah. We should. I'll mention that to them. Yeah, they should
Preferably with
do
Dolly
that.
Parton 9 to 5 playing in the background.
Absolutely.
But I mean, it's just again, it's just seeing the stories, seeing the storytelling, and seeing the creativity in action. Yeah, it's not just Maker Central; it's creativity central. I think for the UK, and I just hope that it was, as most people in the community probably know, that there's a new organisation behind it. Yeah, Nick has sort of sold off some of the sort of stock in it, so that there's some other people organising it who've got a very big sort of heritage background experience in craft shows and creativity shows, and so hopefully that will just see the amount of creativity increase and the more hands-on things. So hopefully, over the next few years, bigger and better.
There's been some really positive feedback from them already. I think it was very different to what they were expecting, and I think it's kind of blown them away just how wonderfully people focused it is. Feedback that we've had through Makers that it's blown them away, and they've kind of got some big lessons that they've learned from seeing how we all interact and what they can do in the future, because they'd only had 6 months of involvement before Maker Central. Take it to this.
So hopefully next year. I mean, certainly I've heard from a few kind of friends from abroad that they're very much wanting to try and get over next year if they can, because it's just what they've seen this year is even more exciting than what they've seen in other years. And I'm not just in terms of the stuff there, but also the kind of community behind it. There were quite a lot of people missing as well, and for a variety of reasons. Some people I think were a bit worried that it'd just be more of the same. It wasn't, and I think the community aspect of it has just grown stronger and stronger. So I would encourage people to come even as much as anything for that.
Could be an Irish invasion next year.
Yeah, I've seen the chat. That's quite possible.
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah, some of the Irish guys were missed. Yeah,
they were.
So,
definitely.
I mean, so many people were missed. Yeah, obviously, not everyone. I'm not going to go there. Yeah, but it was a good time. It was the best of times.
And there's just one lesson from that many people being missed. We've got to aim better next time.
Yes.
Well, that's it. That's the advantage of large area weapons. I mean, chocolate dispenser.
And we're back to chocolate war crimes.
So
that's got to be a t-shirt.
Let's just say that a sticker is already in production. I've just seen the website.
Damn, that takes one off my list of stickers I can make. Matt Gray's chocolate war crime. Could do it proper ginger style. Chocolate war crimes coming soon near you.
Right, on that note, Becky, where can people find you very quickly?
I'm online in most places as Pepperdine Creations, so that's website, Instagram, I think Twitter's that all. I think Twitter is Pepperdine Creation because there's not enough letters, but you'll find me. And the Museum of Impossible Things is either the Museum of Impossible Things or the MOIT. So I think we're the Museum of Impossible Things on Instagram and we're the MOIT everywhere else.
Cool. Kev?
Shark Attack 1979 Instagram. That's about it, folks. That's all I got.
Hey, that's enough. That's enough. Particularly with what you do with November. It's you're an important part of the maker community. Just because you're on one platform does not make you any less of that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Matt, where can people find you?
Whereas I'm compensating, I'm at Matt Gray S on pretty much everything. Or if you just search for Matt Gray, that's spelled MATTGRAY. You can find me at the top of Google, probably on YouTube, wherever you look. I've got that SEO sorted.
Someone else has got the SEO sorted. Peter, where can people find you?
Yeah, I am 10-minute workshop. That's 10-minute workshop. Although TEN also works on pretty much everything, mostly on YouTube and Instagram. 10minuteworkshop.com, 10minuteworkshop.email if you'd like to join the email list, 10minuteworkshop.plus if you want to join the online community, all those things. Yeah, good.
Fantastic. We'll be back next week. Haven't lined the guests up yet, but did manage to get quite a large number of people to agree to come on the show during Make Central. And I wrote it down this year because I didn't write them all down last year. So I did miss a few, and I did have to apologise.
And you've just told us that you've got a list of people that we can all hold you accountable for now.
Yes, yeah. I took a notebook with me and literally carried it with me and wrote things down. Although my handwriting at times was not very legible. I have had to decode a few.
This wouldn't happen to be Hilton Bar related, because I hear the gravity was a bit off on there, so pens didn't quite work properly.
Yeah, there's definitely some gravity issues at times, I think. Yeah.
So it was very much a gravity issue at the moment.
Yeah.
Gravity was the name of the ale, right?
Yeah.
Well, we had the gravity clamps at the Make with Makers booth.
The gravity clamp affects.
Oh, I saw a picture of the gravity
move.
clamps. They look like they'd be very effective at the beginning of the weekend and less effective at the end.
Over the course of the day, they got less effective.
But also more effective.
As we did.
Yeah. One of those odd things. Yeah. On that note, we'll say goodbye to folks, and we'll see you all next week. And audio will hopefully go out tomorrow morning, if all being well. And thanks, folks.
This episode is sponsored by Chocolate War Crimes. Chocolate War Crimes.
Do you know, I thought that was a real thing then.
It is
so good. That was so good.
I'm going now. Yeah, it's right.